Ever wondered why we often avoid doing hard things, even when we know they're good for us? It's a paradox that's as old as humanity itself. We're intelligent beings, capable of recognizing the benefits of tackling challenging tasks, yet we often find ourselves drawn to the path of least resistance. Let's dive into this conundrum. Picture this. You have a report due in a week. You know that starting early would lead to a better end product, less stress, and ultimately, a sense of accomplishment. But instead, you find yourself binge-watching a TV series or scrolling through social media. Why? The answer lies in the battle between short-term pleasure and long-term gain. Our brains are wired to seek out immediate gratification. It's a survival mechanism, a remnant of our primitive past when immediate rewards often meant the difference between life and death. But in our modern world, this instinct can often lead us astray. Think about it. Eating a salad instead of a burger, going for a run instead of watching TV, or choosing to study instead of partying. These decisions require us to forego immediate pleasure for the sake of long-term benefits. And that's not always an easy thing to do. We're not just being lazy, it's a deeply ingrained biological response. Our brains release dopamine, a feel-good hormone, when we engage in activities that bring us immediate joy. That's why it feels so satisfying to sink into the couch with a bag of chips after a long day, even when we know hitting the gym would be better for us in the long run. But here's the kicker. We're not slaves to our biology. With awareness and a bit of effort, we can start to rewire our brains to take pleasure in doing hard things. The key lies in understanding our dopamine responses and learning how to manipulate them to our advantage. So, if it's not just laziness, what drives us to avoid these challenging tasks? The answer, as we'll explore in the next section, has a lot to do with dopamine and our brain's relentless pursuit of instant gratification. Stay tuned as we delve deeper into the science behind our paradoxical aversion to hard work. Enter dopamine, the brain's reward chemical. Dopamine is a fascinating little molecule, a neurotransmitter that plays a pivotal role in our brain's reward system. It's often associated with the feeling of pleasure, but it's more about motivation and focus. It's dopamine that gives us that little push to do things, to act, to achieve, and to pursue rewards. Imagine dopamine as a cheerleader in your brain. When you do something that your brain perceives as beneficial, dopamine cheers you on, saying, "Well done! That was great, let's do that again." This cheerleader effect makes us more likely to repeat the behavior, whether it's eating a delicious meal, playing an engaging video game, or receiving a compliment. However, it's not just about pleasure. Dopamine also plays a crucial role in learning and memory. It helps us remember what actions led to rewards, creating a feedback loop that encourages us to repeat those actions in the future. Now, here's where things get interesting. Dopamine doesn't just respond to rewards, it anticipates them. When we expect a reward, our dopamine levels spike, driving us to take action. This is why we're often so motivated to work towards goals that promise immediate gratification, like scrolling through social media or eating a piece of cake. But what about tasks that don't offer immediate rewards? Tasks that are hard, that require effort and perseverance? Well, these don't trigger a strong dopamine response. There's no immediate reward, no quick dopamine hit. This is why we often find it hard to motivate ourselves to do these tasks, even when we know they're good for us in the long run. So, what can we do about this? How can we trick our brains into liking hard things? Well, it all starts with understanding how dopamine works. By learning how this brain chemical influences our behavior, we can start to manipulate our dopamine response, making it work for us rather than against us. Could the secret to doing hard things lie in understanding and manipulating our dopamine response? Let's delve deeper into this in the upcoming scenes. Imagine if we could trick our brain into enjoying hard tasks. Welcome to the world of Dopamine Detox. In this fascinating realm, we're exploring the idea of a dopamine detox, a concept that's been creating ripples in the waters of neuroscience and psychology. So, what exactly is it? Well, it's a process where you deliberately reduce activities that cause spikes in dopamine, the neurotransmitter associated with pleasure and reward. We live in an era of constant stimulation. From the ping of a social media notification to the thrill of a new episode of our favorite show, our lives are brimming with dopamine-inducing activities. But here's the twist. This constant influx of dopamine can actually skew our brain's reward system. It can make mundane tasks seem boring and hard tasks almost insurmountable. That's where a dopamine detox comes into play. By cutting down on activities that cause dopamine spikes, we're giving our brain a chance to reset. It's like hitting the reset button on your computer, a fresh start, if you will. Now, this doesn't mean you should live like a monk and renounce all pleasures. The idea is to be more mindful of how we spend our time and what activities we engage in. It's about reducing the noise and clutter in our lives and focusing on activities that are truly meaningful and rewarding. A dopamine detox can help rewire our brain's reward system. It can make us more attuned to the pleasures of hard work and the satisfaction of achieving our goals. It can help us enjoy the process, not just the end result. So, instead of being slaves to our dopamine spikes, we become masters of our own minds. We start to see hard tasks not as insurmountable obstacles, but as challenges that we can tackle and overcome. We start to derive joy and satisfaction from the journey itself, not just the destination. But how exactly does a dopamine detox work, and can it really help us enjoy doing hard things? Well, hold on to your seats as we dive deeper into the science of dopamine detox in our next scene. Let's delve into the science behind dopamine detox. You see, the human brain is a marvel of nature, capable of astounding adaptability. This adaptability is largely due to a process called neuroplasticity. But what is neuroplasticity, you may ask? Well, it's the brain's ability to reorganize itself by forming new neural connections throughout life. This is how we learn new things, form memories, and yes, even adapt to changes in our dopamine levels. Scientists have discovered that neuroplasticity plays a crucial role in dopamine detox. When we indulge in quick dopamine fixes, like scrolling through social media or binge-watching a show, our brains become accustomed to receiving high levels of dopamine. So when we suddenly remove these dopamine sources, our brains are forced to adapt. And this is where the magic of neuroplasticity comes in. In the initial stages of a dopamine detox, your brain might resist the change. You may feel restless, bored, or even anxious. But remember, this is your brain adjusting to the new norm. Over time, as your brain rewires itself, you'll start to find joy in activities that once seemed mundane or challenging. That book you've been meaning to read, the project you've been procrastinating on, they'll start to seem more appealing. Multiple studies have backed up this phenomenon. For instance, research conducted at the University of California, San Francisco, found that when rats were deprived of high dopamine activities, their brains eventually rewired to find pleasure in low dopamine tasks. This experiment is a testament to the power of neuroplasticity and the brain's ability to adapt to changes in dopamine levels. The science of dopamine detox is not just a fascinating field of study, it's a testament to the resilience and adaptability of the human brain. It's proof that we can rewire our brains to enjoy hard tasks, to seek fulfillment over fleeting pleasure, and to take control of our lives. So dopamine detox isn't just a fad, it's backed by science. But how can you implement it in your life? Ready to trick your brain into enjoying hard tasks? Here's how you can start a dopamine detox. To begin, it's crucial to understand that implementing a dopamine detox is not about going cold turkey. It's about creating a sustainable shift in your lifestyle and habits. Picture it as a diet for your brain. You don't starve it, you provide it with healthier, more fulfilling options. Firstly, identify your dopamine triggers. These are the activities that give you an immediate rush of pleasure, but leave you feeling empty afterwards. Common culprits include aimless internet browsing, binge-watching TV shows, and compulsive snacking. Once you recognize these, you can start to gradually replace them with more rewarding tasks. Next, set clear, achievable goals. Looking to master a new skill? Break it down into manageable chunks and celebrate each little victory. Want to read more? Start with a chapter a day. The aim here is not to overhaul your entire life overnight, but to make small, consistent changes that add up over time. Now, don't be disheartened if you don't see immediate results. Dopamine detox is a process, not an event. It's normal to experience resistance and even a sense of discomfort as your brain adjusts to the new regime. In fact, these feelings are a good sign. They mean your brain is rewiring itself to find pleasure in tasks it previously perceived as hard. At the same time, it's essential to have a support system in place. Surround yourself with like-minded individuals, share your journey with them, learn from their experiences, and draw strength from their support. Remember, you're not alone in this. Lastly, maintain a healthy balance. While it's crucial to challenge yourself, it's equally important not to push yourself too hard. Give your brain time to rest and recharge. Incorporate activities you genuinely enjoy into your routine. This isn't about depriving yourself of pleasure, but rather about finding pleasure in the right places. Remember, it's not about punishing yourself, but about teaching your brain to find joy in the hard things.